A lot of video games aim to excel in a specific genre, but now and then we get games that take on more than one. I really like these games that blend together different genres in exciting ways. I think it's kind of an audacious feat of game development that seems like a kind of alchemy, but the 4 games that I have for you today all manage it perfectly. Whether it's shopkeeping and dungeon crawling, cooking and monster slaying, or running a cult by day and slaying gods by night, these 4 games all offer slick gameplay with a bold mashing together of different genres. As always, likes are appreciated if you liked the video. You can let me know about your favourite genre mashup games in the comments. Subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and I will let you know about the channel's Patreon at the end. The first game that I have for you is Battle Chef Brigade, which released in 2017. It was developed by Trinket and published by Adult Swim. It has a respectable 80 on Metacritic and overwhelmingly positive Steam reviews. In this game you play as Mina, who enrolls in the Battle Chef Brigade, like a squadron of heroic chefs that also fight. Think Hogwarts for cooking. You can walk around the beautifully hand-drawn academy and talk to the teachers and your fellow students before engaging in some super fun cook-offs. And there's a couple of different elements to this. You have a stove where you can combine and cook ingredients, but you have to collect the ingredients first by running outside to hunt down animals and pick fruit and vegetables. All of this involves some super fun combat and platforming under time pressure, because you have to run back to the stove and cook the ingredients and finish your dish before the time is up, and this involves a fun Super Puyo Puyo style puzzle game. You'll be graded on the results, and then you can go back into the school and talk to more people. It's really fun to play. It's like chess boxing or spinning plates, and I think that all of the different kinds of gameplay are actually integrated really well here, and it's all helped along by the beautiful visuals and great music. It's a really unusual hybrid game, and there's nothing else quite like it. I think this one's a real hidden gem. Pick it up on all the consoles, PC and Mac. That's Battle Chef Brigade. A year later, in 2018, we got Moonlighter, developed by Digital Sun and published by 11-bit. This is a really fun one, and it made a splash at the time. It mixes together a roguelike dungeon crawler and a shopkeeping minigame. You're a young adventurer in a small village that happens to be the site of some mysterious, forbidden dungeons, and each night you'll break into a dungeon where you'll fight monsters, explore, pick up treasures, and try and get as deep as you can. The monsters drop valuable parts that you put into your sack, and there's a welcome sense of risk and reward as you decide between getting out of there with all of your stuff or trying to go deeper and risking losing most of it. But either way, the next day you get back to your shop and you lay out all of your treasures on the shelves, you price them up, and then you open the doors for the shopkeeping minigame, where you have to run around the store helping customers, restocking the shelves, running the cash register, and so forth. More dungeons unlock as you proceed, and there's a really enjoyable story to this one with a twist in the tale as you get towards the end. I think both of the gameplay styles complement each other really well in this one, and I love my time with it. It's out on all the consoles, Mac and PC, and Netflix users can play it on mobile as part of their subscription, so dive into the dungeons of Moonlighter. The Wild at Heart is a super underrated game that came out in 2020. It was developed by Moonlight Kids and published by Humble Games. And this game has a really gorgeously illustrated art style and a lovely soundtrack by Amos Roddy that we've been listening to throughout this video. You play as a kid who runs away from home and finds themselves lost in a magical forest populated by an eccentric group of wizards, warriors, waifs and strays who call themselves the Green Shields. And I've described this one as being the best Nintendo game that isn't made by Nintendo, because the 2 genres of this one are both Nintendo inspired. It takes heavy influence from Zelda, with a top-down view, a big map to explore, and all sorts of enemies, treasure and lore to discover. But the twist is that there's also a heavy Pikmin element to it as well in the Spritelings. These little fairies that you hatch from the environment until you have a little army following you around at all times. You can use them to fix bridges and move obstacles, but also in combat, and there are different elemental Spritelings which come into play in both the combat and the puzzles, like using fire Spritelings to burn away thorny bushes, or heavy ones to weigh things down. There are also extra characters and a day-night cycle, and you'll get extra tools to help you navigate the darkness. I think this is a genuinely delightful game. It's so slick and polished, and it's an audio-visual treat. It's a really nice length too, clocking in at about 12 hours. You can pick it up on PC, Mac, and all of the consoles. I played it on Switch, where it was a really great and natural fit, so give it a try. That's The Wild at Heart. The last game that I have for you is probably the most well-known of these games. It's Cult of the Lamb, a 2022 release developed by Massive Monster and published by Devolver. I played this one upon release, and I have to say it was packed with game-breaking bugs at the time, like getting soft-locked when enemies didn't spawn or getting terminally stuck in the hub, but it's since been patched up, so I'm jealous of anyone who's playing it for the first time now. This one is a cute and darkly funny cult simulator. You play as a lamb that is brought back from the dead by a demonic benefactor who tasks you with setting up a cult in their name. The first half of the game is running your cult compound, which is like a village builder. You have to get followers, build them tents and houses, set them to work running farms and mines. You harvest their prayers, and you also have to entertain them kind of with creepy rituals. And when they go unruly, you have to punish them and re-educate them as well, because you are, after all, a demonic cult leader, as well as being a cute little lamb. I really like this part of the game actually. You're constantly unlocking new things to build, and they all have functionalities that seem to interlock with each other, which makes for really rich gameplay. And so does the second half of the game, which is going out to find and kill your patron's demonic rivals. They are bosses that lurk at the bottom of tough multi-level dungeons, but the combat is slick and snappy. You get a new weapon at the start of every run. You can pick up perks along the way that make all of the runs feel different. I really enjoyed the combat. The art is wonderful in the dungeons. They feel like Ghost Train, weirdo, corridor battles with all kinds of enemies crawling out of the woodwork. There's a really satisfying dodge, and I found myself trying to clear each room in seconds without getting hit. I thought the boss fights were really great. There are cutscenes in between where you commune with your demonic benefactor, and it opens up new areas of the map to go and explore, including strange side characters and that kind of thing. This is a really top tier game, especially after the patches. It's slick and satisfying, and both sides of the gameplay feed into each other. You'll find new members in the dungeons, and you can liberate them to strengthen the cult back at the compound, and having a strong cult gives you new attacks and weapons that you can unlock in the dungeons. So you really are incentivized to play both games properly and make everything work. Top class game, highly recommended by me. That's Cult of the Lamb. And just to round things out, I've had a lot of new subscribers on the channel lately. We went from like 800 followers to like almost 2,000 now. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's been watching the videos, liking, commenting, subscribing. It's a really exciting time for the channel. Things are growing fast, and I appreciate all of you for being along for the ride. I'd also like to say an extra special thank you to all of the patrons of the channel who signed up at patreon.com/gaminginthewild. For $1 a month or more if you like, you'll get an invite to the patron-only Discord server, which is full of lovely people talking about games all day. You'll get behind-the-scenes content about how I make the videos and the podcast, and you'll get bonus podcasts too about music and travel and books and life and all sorts of things, really. If you like the sound of that, it's patreon.com/gaminginthewild, and it starts at just $1 a month. I'll be back soon with a new video, and until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you on the next one.